Everyone, and welcome to the Houzz Pro onboarding webinar. Today, I'm going to take you through some basic tips for setting up your Houzz profile, the premium features that are available to you now that you're a Houzz Pro member, as well as the management software and setting up your Houzz Pro account. To start with, you'll notice we're on a Houzz profile that's pretty well built out, and this is a great example of where you can take your profile to once you're able to start adding more content to your page. Now, the first feature I'd like to speak about is your profile photo. So we'd always recommend uploading a headshot first. A logo is a good second if you don't have a headshot, but keep in mind when uploading your headshot that you want to make sure it's not too far away, not too close up either. You look friendly and approachable. We can see your eyes clearly, and you've got a nice, neat background as well. Second, I'd like to speak about reviews. Now, reviews are so important as they're actually the #1 hiring criteria on Houzz. You can send your review link to your past clients as well as professional connections so that you can start getting reviews on your page. We'd really recommend getting as many 5-star reviews as possible, as we know that's what homeowners are looking for on Houzz. Now, when editing and uploading your information into the back end of your profile, you'll just want to go through and make sure that you do your business description in the About Us section. That's really an opportunity to give details as to what your business does, what sets you apart from your competition, and the types of projects that you engage in as well. You'll want to list all the services that you provide as well as the areas that you service, and don't forget to pop in your typical job cost as well. That will really help any potential clients looking at your page know the size of the projects that you typically take on. Then, as you start to get more professional photos of your projects, you'll just want to upload them to your profile, keeping that online portfolio as current and up to date as you can. Okay, now let's have a look at some of those premium features that I mentioned. And the first one I want to talk about is the featured review. We mentioned how important reviews are on Houzz, and reviews typically will be listed in the order that they come in on your profile. But by selecting a featured review, you're able to select a review that you feel best highlights your business and keep that to the top of the list. It'll also be visible in the professional directory when clients find you there as well. Next, I'd like to talk about the highlight video. Now, this is such an important feature, and as you start to get more content on your page, you really want to go ahead and set this up. It takes the best parts of your profile, so that includes your reviews, your photos, and it splices it together in a 60-second video reel with some music. It's such a great way to stand out and look professional, but also showcase the best parts of your business and the projects that you do to potential clients in 60 seconds. So you definitely want to go ahead and set that one up. Lastly, I just want to talk about the standouts that are available to you, and they will live underneath your Houzz profile picture here to the left side. Now, there's a bunch of different standouts that you can select from, but the goal here is to really highlight those key aspects of your business. This will again also be visible on your directory listing, so you want to go in and select the standouts that best describe your business. Now let's go and have a look at the Houzz Pro portal. So to access the Houzz Pro portal, all you need to do is click on this blue Go to Houzz Pro button in the top right hand corner. Now, I'm using my demo account now to show you what it looks like inside. What I would highly recommend is definitely go through and bookmark this page. You'll see here, you'll just have a little star. If you have your folders set up at the top of your page for your bookmarks, you can go ahead and select the Houzz Pro page just by bookmarking it with the star, and have that ready to go in your bookmarks so that later, if you just want to come into the software and get your work done, it's really easy for you to find. Okay, so now we're in the Houzz Pro portal. A couple of things I want to show you. It says welcome in here. You can see my potential lead sitting here. I want to draw your attention to the navigation bar on the left-hand side. So here you'll see a portion that says grow. If I click on insights, it's going to give me some basic insights about my photos, how many views I've had, my reach, things like that. Now, I'm not going to go into that too much because the majority of users on this webinar today have not purchased targeted branding. So your insights will be quite basic. If you were to choose our ultimate tier and actually actively push your branding out on Houzz, the insights would be really detailed. The one thing I do want to go into is the management software. So I'm just going to close that folder there, and we're going to be focusing here on manage. So here you'll see leads, projects, clients, library, and then our visual tools underneath. So before we actually start looking into the management tool, the first thing you would want to do is make sure that your account settings are set up correctly. So if you hover on the top here, you'll notice that you can edit your profile settings. That's your Houzz profile settings, or you can edit your Houzz Pro settings. Sorry, I just skipped out of there. This is what we want. Houzz Pro settings. So the Houzz Pro settings are the settings for within your portal, which is the management software and where your documents are. So if I click into Houzz Pro settings, now you'll see a couple of different tiles here. We've got account, profile, billing, subscription, teams, and calendar. So we do want to look at account. So let's click in there. Here you'll see a page that has your business information. So I can put in my logo, my company name, and fill out my business details. This is the information that will populate the top of your documents later. So when you're creating those virtual dynamic documents on Houzz Pro, it will be pulling this data. So it's a one-time entry only, and it will be beautifully branded. You don't have to worry about changing and editing anything else. You'll also see that you can edit your address book from here and your accounting. I want to go back to the main setting page to take you through a few of these other tiles. We're not going to look at the Houzz profile because we've already done that. You can see billing information here. This is where you'll actually see the details of your subscription. So you can click in there and view that. But I do want to show you teams. So if you have team members that you would like to add to your account, you can come in here. You'll notice add team member. All you need to do is go ahead and click, enter in their details. So let's say I'm putting in my team member now, Sam. I can put in his email address. And invite. And what will actually happen there, I didn't use a valid one, but you would need to use a valid email address, is they would receive an email from your company allowing them to create a login so that they can access Houzz Pro and also work on your projects with you. Okay. Once you have your team members set up, you can also see calendar. Now, I do recommend coming in here and integrating your calendar. This is also great because we not only can allow you to schedule calendar invites with your clients, but you can also schedule video consultation. And that's a really new feature that we've added, which is really important, as you know, for what's happening at the moment. A lot of professionals are doing remote consultations. Video calls are a great way to do that. So all you need to do is follow the prompts here. It will go ahead and integrate with your whatever calendar you're using. I'm using Google Calendar, so I've gone ahead and followed the prompts, and now I can actually see my availability on my Google Calendar, and I can either share that calendar with my potential clients or go ahead and book video calls myself. So once you've got all that set up and ready to go, you're ready to start working with your potential clients. So the first thing we're going to look at is leads, which is on the left-hand side here. So clicking on leads, it's going to take me to this section here where you'll see it says your leads, and I've got my potential leads sitting here. I've got 7 current leads, and here you can actually see the stages that these leads are currently in. So anything that comes in that's new that I haven't really worked with yet sits under review. I might have moved it to something to follow up. Maybe I've already started interacting with that potential client and I need to see if I, have capacity to take that project on. I need to follow up with them. Maybe I've started scheduling meetings with them, and maybe I've already shared my initial estimate as well. Over here, you'll also see any projects that I've closed. So I've actually converted this potential client into a project. It's a 1 project, as you can see. And then also any inactive. So if you did need to snooze a lead, maybe they're, you've mentioned to them that, you won't be able to take it on for a certain amount of time. They're happy to wait. You can snooze your leads also and get back to them later. That can come up as inactive. So you also see, because I've integrated my calendar, I can share my meeting link here, and I can also create a new lead. Now, I really would encourage you to come in and enter all potential clients that you're speaking to into this system. So they don't need to come from Houzz. You can actually enter them in manually. So to do that, all you need to do is click the create new. So I want a new lead, or if I have a list, a spreadsheet of my clients, I can import that as well. But I'm just going to click on new lead and create one now with you. So it comes to this page, create new lead. And here you'll see general details. So I can put in my project name. I can put in my client's details. I can select from any clients that I'm currently already working with, or I can go ahead and create a new client on the spot. Put in their details. And what you'll see also is down here, anything about the actual project itself. So maybe the estimated budget, we can pop that in. The project type, maybe this is a custom home. The lead source. Now this is really important. Where did they come from? They could come from Google or your other social media. Perhaps they're a word of mouth client. Perhaps they were referred to you. Go ahead and input that as well. The estimated date that the project will start, as well as any description or scope that you currently already have for the project. Once you click that, I don't think I put in the project name. Once you put in those details, you just click done, and now this lead has been created in the system and is ready for you to start interacting with. So you'll see here now, I can start emailing this potential client. So inputting all your leads into the one spot, no matter how they've contacted you, will allow you to interact with them and also look professional with your interaction from the very first time that you're speaking with this client. We've done a lot of research. We speak to a lot of homeowners, and there's a couple of things that they expect when interacting with a professional. And one, it's to be responded to in a timely manner. And it's also, the look and professionalism of the documents that you're using. And this allows you to do that. This allows you to put your best foot forward and also because you're staying organized and everything is in the one spot, you're not going from your email to your WhatsApp to your message. I speak to a multitude of professionals that are using a lot of different platforms. By using just the one, it allows you to respond faster because you only have to go to that one place to see what's happening with the clients that you're speaking with. So now that we're within this lead, this is what it would look like. So it does very much look like an email, as you can see. Down here, you can write your email to your client, and you'll see the different formatting functions, very much like if you're working out of your inbox. You can do your attachments and files, you can do your formatting, but you can also set up quick response templates, which is really fantastic. You'll see here that you can have the default ones, but you can also create your own, and then you can save your own as a quick response. You'll also see that we have different tokens that you can use as well. So let's say I'm going to select this one. You'll notice here that I can select a token that allows my calendar link to be automatically inserted. So I don't need to worry about, copying and pasting. I can already generate that and link it through. It'll also automatically take my client's name so that if I want to go ahead and do a quick reply, shoot them my calendar, the system will do it for me. So I can click send and off it goes. And my client, what they receive on their end is an email from your company, and they will just simply reply to that and their thread will appear here for you. So for your client's experience, it's just like working out of an email, but for you, you get a whole lot of extra functionality that your email doesn't have, like sending quick responses, sending your calendar link. So if I click on that, what does it look like on your client's end? They get your calendar with your availability. They can choose video call or not, and they can go ahead and select a time. And when they click send invite, it will also send an invite to your calendar and their calendar. So they can schedule a time that works best, which is super, super easy. It now appears here, your scheduled meeting, a great experience for both of you. Easily done. What you can also do is put in internal notes. So you'll see here, there's these 3 dots when I hover on top of this message. Whenever you see 3 dots anywhere, that's actually a menu. So it allows you to have further actions. So take that along with you on your Houzz Pro journey. Whenever you see 3 dots, that is a menu. There are options for you to choose from there. So you can see I can add an internal note, I can copy a message, or I can create a template from this message. But what I'm actually going to do is add an internal note. Now, this is really fantastic if you have a long thread with a client and you need to capture certain information, not only in for this client, but to the specific message itself. So maybe this is in this particular email, they mentioned the project of yours that they walked past, or a friend referred them to check out, and they want something quite similar. You want to take note that they mentioned the Paddington kitchen that they saw online. They're looking for something quite similar in this particular email. So you can create that internal note. Again, only you will be able to see it. And if you have a really long thread of emails, you can call your attention to those certain messages that you want. I know a lot of professionals that mention to me, that they are WhatsApping, that they're emailing, so their notes can be all over the place. This is going to consolidate that for you, and you'll easily find what you're looking for in the one spot. So that's your notes. You'll also notice that there's a notes tab up here. So you can also create notes, general notes to this lead. You don't have to specify it directly on an email like I did just then. If you want to come in and just create a new note, you totally can. Let's create a note. Enter your note in here. But what's also really important is your calls. this is where you can put your call log in. So if you're calling up your client, scheduling that appointment, maybe you didn't send them your calendar, you've reached out and you want to give them a call and you want to keep a log of what you're talking about on that call, you can come in here and do so, and you'll notice that it gives you the date and time of that call as well, and that will automatically save. All changes are saved. You can do attachments within here as well, attach any files that you need, any inspirational images, any terms of agreement, anything that you want to share with your client can come in here as well. It just opens up to the files on your computer. And you can send an estimate, which I'm going to get into in a bit more detail as well. I'm just going to go back. Actually, I'll just show you this here. And when your client is happy and you're ready to go, you can simply convert to project. But let's just go back to the lead stage for a moment. So now you'll see that that is sitting here ready to go in my leads. And you can see the last time I contacted and when it was created as well, and that I have an upcoming meeting. So it also captures the stages and what's happening with that potential client when you're just in the lead menu as well. So I'm going to go back into that lead because I do want to convert it to a project. So let's say you had the back and forth with your client, you've scheduled your video conference, you've already spoken to them. Now you want to go ahead and send your first initial quotes to them. All you need to do is come up to that estimates tab. So let's click here. And what you'll see is new estimate. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can create an estimate on Houzz Pro. You'll see from scratch, from template, or you can upload. If you just have a standard PDF that you normally use to upload when you just do your initial consultation and you want to go ahead and upload that so that it's branded through Houzz Pro and you can send it digitally, go ahead and do that. That's really easy to do. Again, it will just come up to the files on your computer and you can add that. I actually have a template saved, so I'm going to go to my templates. I'm going to put in my consultation quote and click save, and that's going to appear here ready to go. So a couple things. I'm going to go into the full functionality of an estimate a little bit later. Let's say this is uploaded, ready to go. What you'll notice down here is you can attach extra files. So again, if you did upload just a PDF, that's fine. If you have extra PDFs for terms and conditions, any other files, again, you want to upload and attach to your initial estimate, you can go ahead and do it at this stage as well. So over here, you'll notice now the total, a preview and share button, an approval button, but I want to draw your attention to the activity stream. So what you'll see is it's showing me the movements of this document. So it's really easy for me to keep track of when I created it, when I sent it, when my client opened it, and when they paid for the estimate as well. All that information will be here and all those movements will be captured. So what I want to do now is go ahead and click preview and share. And that's going to take me to a preview window. So it's important to note before you send anything on Houzz Pro, you're always going to get the opportunity to review what you're sending and choose how you would like to display it. So we're in the preview window now, and what you'll see is what would you like to show your client? And there's a couple of different boxes here that allow you to either drill down into how you want to present it. So do you want to show detailed pricing? Do you want to show quantity and unit? Do you have a markup breakdown that you would like to share? That's completely up to you to dictate, but you have the option here to go ahead and select and present to your client how you would like to show this document and the detailed payment breakdown. Then you'll also see over here, so let's say, we're sending this to our client. This is our consultation fee, and you have your text for your email. And here you'll see send a copy to my email. I do recommend always going ahead and ticking that box. That allows you to keep a paper trail also in your inbox as well. But I do want to draw your attention to this last box that we have ticked down here. So this is require an electronic signature. Now you don't have to have that if you don't want to, but if you did, it is great because it allows your clients to actually sign that they approve this invoice as well. Sorry, this estimate. If they pull up this document on their phone, they can even sign with their finger on their phone as well. You can see you can export it as a PDF, or if any reason you need to actually print this out and take it with you anywhere, you can export it as a PDF as well. If you have a bit more old school clients that you don't want to send a digital copy to, you could definitely do that if you needed to. And then simply hit confirm and send, and that will send through to your client. Again, they will receive an email from your company with this estimate within it. So what you'll see now is it does tell me that this is sent. So the status has changed now from draft to sent. And we can also see in the activity stream, it does say that this has been sent. You can approve your estimates on behalf of your client. Maybe they're in the office and you're speaking with them. You can go ahead and approve on their behalf, absolutely. And again, that will appear in the activity stream. You'll now see that the status has updated from sent to approved, and that action will be marked here. So the estimate was created, it was sent, it was received, and it was approved by you. If it was approved by the client, it would say by the client. So let's go back to our inquiry. So let's say for this client, we've gone through all the motions now. We've taken you through. They're no longer a potential client. They are an actual client. They have agreed to the initial consult that you've sent through to them. They've approved it. So we want to move this lead out of our leads section. So you'll see here leads. We want to move it into our project folder because it's now an actual project that we are currently working on. So all I need to do now is click the blue convert to project button. I have a pop-up that I can confirm that. And now it's going to take all of that information and move that into a folder in our projects tab. So it automatically shows us what it would look like in the project, but I'm going to go one step and just click into my projects tab to show you. I've got a couple of different projects, and there it is, the custom home project that we were just working on. Let's click inside. So what you'll see is it looks similar to how it looked in the leads tab, but now we have all these extra functionalities. So we have payment requests, variation orders, timeline, and daily logs. All the notes from when we were previously speaking with them are still there and captured. Any files, emails, and uploads are still all there. We haven't lost any information. We've just gained all these extra functionalities that we can utilize now that we are working on a project. So what I want to actually do is take you through a more in-depth tutorial of creating your estimates. So there's the one that we were currently working on, our initial. Now we want to go ahead and put forward another estimate. So we simply click create new. I do want to show you what it looks like from scratch. So if I click from scratch, here you can start to enter in your line items. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can click add line item. And I already have some items pre-filled into my library, so I can start to search through this if I need anything to do with my paint, and I can start to search through my product library, as you can see, and select, and it will automatically fill there. If I don't have anything in my product library, I could also go create new, and I can manually enter in a line item as well. Once I have a bunch of items in my library, I can actually go from library. I can select all the different categories within my library, as you can see here, and I can go ahead and select what I need just by clicking, and those items will start to move over to my estimate. Now, it will take a little bit of time to enter these items into your library, but once you enter them in once, they'll be saved in there. So it will, save you a lot of time in the long run. There's always a little bit of a learning curve, as well as a little bit of time that goes into setting up your account. But once it's set up, you'll see how easy and automated this is. I can simply click through to what I need and select. The other thing is you can select favorites. So if you have items that you use a lot, so let's say, I constantly am doing kitchen, so I need to have my refrigerator in there, I can click this star icon, and that will favorite this item, so that you'll see the folder up the top. I can come into my favorites and I can select what I need, and I don't need to go through my full library every time. So that's creating from scratch. Now, a couple of different things we can do. Also, you'll notice that once they're in here, you can definitely make any edits you need. So if you saved it into your product library with a certain cost, but you need to make changes to it for this estimate, you can override that. That's fine. You could save it into your product library without a cost, like I have with some of these, and just make whatever changes you need on the document before you send it off. You can obviously edit your quantity if you need to. You can edit your unit if you need to as well. And you can also mark up. So if you have a standard markup that you would normally do, you can pop in a percentage, absolutely. Or if you need to just do a markup per item, you can come in and do that as well. Easy to do. Just like the estimate that I showed you from the lead level, again, any files, terms and conditions, you can absolutely come in and enter those in. If you save this as a template, you can save it with those terms and conditions and files already preloaded. Again, will save you time later. Easy for you to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and, like we did on our last estimate, we're going to go to preview and share. It's going to take us to our pop-up window again. Again, you can see the details that we need. Do we want to drill down, or do we want to leave it more blank? It's completely up to you to dictate. You can go ahead and send that to your client. But I'm going to go back to our view and I'm going to approve it on my client's behalf. So let's say our client has approved this. They've gone ahead and transferred our funds. There's a couple of functions that are now available to this document now that it has been approved. So you'll see up the top here for this particular document, the status is approved, and we can now start scheduling payment requests. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can select the entire document and go ahead and start scheduling payments for the entire document. Or if you've set up your estimate maybe in phases, different parts, and you just want to start selecting payments for those particular parts, you could do that as well. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and select the entire document. And now you'll see over here, I can go ahead and create a payment request. So now that that's loaded, the first thing you'll see up here is schedule payment requests. and it's giving me the total for this document, payment 1. I could go ahead and request a deposit if I needed to. So put in my deposit request, and then I can go ahead and schedule different payments. So I might be setting up payment per phases. So I have 1, I want to schedule a second one, a third, a fourth, whatever I need to do. By default, any payments that you schedule, you'll notice are split evenly. But if you wanted to, collect a higher lump sum and then evenly after, you can totally override that. So it's up to you to select your payment requests and the amount for each time you select that payment. You'll notice here we've got your payment options, your payment terms. So you'll notice due upon receipt, net 50, 30, 60, or if you have, the 10th of every month or anything like that, you would need to come in and customize that date, and you can select the date also that you need. Once that's all done, again, same as the estimate, we preview and share, go ahead and send that through to your client. And here you'll see scheduled payments and the breakdown there as well. But what I'm going to do is, again, click on this menu button, and I'm going to log this payment. So let's say it was a bank transfer. Let's put in our reference number, the date we received the payment, and we can even send our client a receipt through the system and click save. So now you'll notice that deposit, the first payment, it's marked paid, and our invoice is created. So we can go ahead and access that invoice now that that has been paid. If we click on it, it will take us directly there. And you can export your invoice as a PDF. You can send it through to your client as well. So let's go back to that estimate and have a look at what's changed. I'm going to click on the details. And what you'll see now is there's a little icon for a document on these line items, and that's actually the payment request that these items are living on. So now we're starting to see how linked documents work on Houzz Pro. If you had, again, oops, I didn't mean to click there. Let's go back to the project. Oops, sorry guys. There we go. Estimate. So yeah, just showing you those linked documents here again. So if you had only selected certain items to start creating those payment requests for, only those line items would have a linked document, and that would mean that when you create a payment request later, you would see which payment requests go to your corresponding phases. But for me, because I did the entire document, all the linked documents are the same. So let's say now it's been paid for, it's been approved, but now your client wants to make some changes. You can absolutely do that. You can go ahead and select the line items that you need to change. And now we're going to click Create Variation Order. So once we click that, it's going to take us to another window with just the items that we selected to change. So what do we need to change? We need to change the paint. Maybe client changed their mind. So instead of the paint we originally specified, we have a more expensive paint as well. And, you know, maybe we need to change the quantity of these cabinets. They've decided they want extra cabinetry. What you'll notice is anything that I change is now highlighted in yellow. So it's very clear to both you and your client what changes you are making from the original estimation that has already been paid for. Now, you'll also see add variation order fee. Perhaps you have a client that is changing their mind a lot and it's delaying the project, it's taking more time, so you want to make sure that you're charging accordingly. You can also go ahead and do that. Again, if you need to mark up further, you could also apply that as well. So our activity stream, our variation has been created. We can go ahead and preview and share. One thing I do want to highlight here that is different to the other documents is this actually has a electronical signature attached, but it's not optional. So like the other documents where you can choose to either have that, the electronic signature on a variation order is automatically added on Houzz Pro because you want to have that proof that your client is signing for these changes. You don't want them to come back and say, why am I getting charged extra? I never approved for that. Yes, you did. You requested it. And I even have the signed agreement where you agreed and approved to do so. So that's a pretty nifty feature there. Again, you can confirm, send to your client, ready to go. So that's the functionality here of an estimate. That's a bit of a deep dive. I'm going to go back to the project. And just show you a couple of extra features. So these last two tabs here, timeline and daily log, these are great. I definitely recommend using this. You can see that you can go ahead and select the different stages of your project. So maybe you have, you know, demolition, and you can set the dates that you need as well. Maybe you have installation. Maybe you just have, you know, your last stage as well. You can set the different colors. You'll notice if I go back in, and not only can you just set the dates for what you, for those different stages, but you can also just click and drag them, which is quite easy as well. So you can come in and edit what you need. And this also can be, either internal, so you'll see I've got this on private, or you can also share it and make it visible to your client. So you might want to, you know, you might be working on a few stages, and then there might be a certain stage when now it's the time to share that with your client. You absolutely can. But what this does is it really gives your client that visual representation of what is happening with the project, which dates certain phases are coming into play. Again, it's just that clear communication with your client, which is you know, a really positive experience for them and something that they do expect when working with a professional, being able to really have that clear communication and understand what's happening with their project. Part of those tools that help you communicate with your client are the daily logs, and these are great also for you to share with your client. You'll see in here there is a template, so you can see you might put in any pending actions, a recap of the day, what went in today, did anything get delayed, maybe the weather affected what was being installed today, maybe it's coming in on another day, any visitors that were on site, you know, any extra work that got done. Again, just allows you to do a quick recap on the logs, which again just really shows your client that you're communicating with them and they know what's happening with their project. Now, these two features, your timeline and the daily log, again, as I mentioned, you can share with your client and you can share it to them on the client dashboard. So you'll see up here in the top right where it says client dashboard. If I click on that, this is what it would look like. Now, mine's doesn't have any real information in it, but yours would look a little bit different. But within the client dashboard, there's a whole bunch of information. Let's just go back and actually, make those features available to the client. So you can see, I'm going to go back into the timeline. Let's actually share it for visibility. Daily log as well. You can share this with your client. And now what you'll actually see is if you were the client, and this is what they would be seeing on their end, they've got the messages. So our initial emails, they've got that. So all that back and forth is in the one spot for them, which is really handy. They've also got their financials, so all the documents that you've created, the estimates will be living in here as well, easy for them to come in and access. The timeline is in here as well, so they can come in and see what's happening with the project. We didn't enter in any daily logs, but if we had, they'd be visible here, as well as any attachments. So again, terms and agreement, anything that you've gone ahead and attached to emails will be visible here as well. So what this is doing is it's collating all of the correspondence for this specific project into the one spot for your client. So they're not having to go into multiple emails, download files, flick around to find what they're looking for. You're actually presenting everything that they need in this one portal that they can simply bookmark. They don't need a Houzz Pro account. It's a live dynamic link that you would send to them that they can simply click on, bookmark, and it will update as you share information, which is such a positive experience for your clients, which will definitely result in them leaving you a fantastic review. So you can have more reviews on your Houzz profile. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I am conscious of time. So that's a good insight into the Houzz Pro account. What I would say is if you do have any further questions, you can definitely go ahead and submit a support ticket. But I'm just going to go have a look now and see if anyone submitted any questions through the chat while I was demoing.